You're watching Rurouni K95's anime review on Iria Zeiram the animation. Hi Ruronis, this is your pal Rurouni K95 here. Today's anime review, we get to cover another 90s anime OVA from 1994, which has 6 episodes for 30 minutes each on this anime. For today's anime review is Iria Zeiram the animation. Iria Zeiram the Animation is a 6 episode original video animation OVA anime series produced by Ashi Productions, which is known for the Vampire Hunter D series, and directed by Tetsuro Amino, who is known for his work on many anime such as Macross 7, The Galaxy's Calling Me, Macross 7 series as well, and he's also known for his works in in general on many certain anime he has directed. The series serves a prequel to the original live-action film Zeiram, taking place several years earlier when the female bounty hunter protagonist Iria is still a rookie, and detailing the events surrounding her first encounter with an unstoppable Zeiram. This does somewhat contradict the films, which implies that Iria's first encounter with Zeiram was in the first film, which you guessed it. Yes, because this has given in the title, because this was written by Tetsuro Amino on episodes 1 and 3, and this was written by Naruhisa Arakawa, who worked on episodes 2 and 6 of Iria Zeiram the animation, and Hajime Matsumoto, who worked on episodes 4 and 5 of Iria Zeiram the animation. And yes, the music was composed by Yoichiro Yoshikawa as well. We'll get to the part on Naruhisa Arakawa at just a moment as well. This anime OVA miniseries has capsulated only 6 episodes for 30 minutes each from June 23rd, 1994 to November 21st, 1994, which is, you guessed it. So let's review Iria Zeiram the animation. The story begins with Iria as an apprentice to her older brother Gren, a veteran bounty hunter, and his partner Bob, who work for Gomvac Security along with a somewhat loutish hunter named Fujikuro during a mission to a hijacked spaceship called the Karma. They discovered that the hijacker is actually seemingly indestructible alien called Zeiram that broke out of the cargo hold during transit and began to massacre the crew. Bob is critically wounded by Zeiram while evacuating the survivors, and Gren is lost while attempting to kill Zeiram by destroying the Karma. Returning to Mice, Iria finds whatever you want to pronounce it. Yeah, Iria, however, finds herself targeted by assassins working for Tenden Tepidai, the corporation that owned the Karma, and discovers a covered-up plot to control Zeiram. In order to use it as a weapon, Iria escapes with the help of Fujikuro and reunites with Bob, who never recovered from his injuries but had his mind downloaded into a computer program. Together, by this time, they continue to investigate rumors that Zeiram has appeared on the mice and try to find out what happened to Gren. Which something particular what you see, what is going on if you ever watched Iria Zeiram the animation as well. Who also seems to have survived the Karma's destruction as well. So that's the story particularly. Yeah. In Iria Zeiram the animation as well, which you guessed it. Because I know this anime OVA has 6 episodes for 30 minutes each, and the person who written episodes 2 and 6 of Iria Zeiram the animation is written by Naruhisa Arakawa, who is known for the first ending theme for Dragon Ball Z, as well as many of her other works, such as Martian successor Nadesco, Idol Project, Steam Detectives, Black Heaven, DN Angel, and many of her other works, and also worked on music on the Tokusatsu series, such as the Kamen Rider series as well. As two or less than the satisfactory results for the credibility for what it has a lot to do. But anyways, so the world is on a lockdown and you can't leave the house, so what better way to spend the time than watching anime? I decided to switch things and go back. I can watch older anime so that I can find any hidden gems. Well, yeah, well, that is the question. If you ever watch this old anime OVA from the 90s, I mean, the narrative is simple as a premise of a bounty hunter chasing a supposedly indestructible monster. It's a nice that the show has a simple premise because of the limited runtime, which made sure that every episode had impact and purpose. The world building was its strongest point and made the show interesting. They drop hints of how the world operates through the dialogue and visual clues that weren't emphasized. Also, the first few episodes of the show did a good job of pacing and not trying to overload the viewer with a bunch of exposition. But unfortunately, during the last half of the series, the limited run time worked against it because it felt like the show wanted to reveal more of itself to the viewers, but it had to quickly wrap up for the finale at this point because it's not like, particularly if it's like if Sin the movie was almost an hour long, or some combined OVA, yeah. Just like if it wasn't some combined OVA, they wanted to hawk it as a feature film, kind of like they did with Macross Plus and Armitage the Third Polymatrix as well, as particularly. And also, it's not like some combining an anime TV series. They want to edit it as a condensed movie version, or movie compilation version of a certain anime OVA or a TV series, like particularly every certain of them. I'm just going to have to say that, but that is the question, though. But this is particularly a mini-series and not a movie, which something how it's given in the title, particularly to explain what it is about Iria, Zeiram the animation as well. Because this is particularly... So what you can probably predict that there may have some things that the viewers would have liked or to see, or questions that they might have had that will ever get answered because they were too few episodes. Visually, the show was so gorgeous and really stands up to the test of time. The colors in the show were vibrant and helped bring the world to life. The character designs were very original and felt like unique to the show. The suits had Batman-like compartments that characters could pull little gadgets with. That, while that is a little ex machina, particularly you see in Iria Zeiram the animation, particularly, or if you ever watched it, it was still an interesting thing to see. Also, the gadgets looked great with having a less traditional look to them, but were used in the manner they were designed to do it, so it didn't take away from the show in any way. Additionally, the backdrop ops in the show were really great. The show teases you with the wonders of what else could be out there to see in this universe. The version of Iria that I watched in the dub with this show would made being made in a time where anime was very nice. It's to be expected. The voice acting quality would have been not a par to today's standards, particularly unlike any other anime out there in general that have to stand the test of time for the credibility, particularly. With that knowledge, the voice acting was still subpar. Almost everyone in the show sounded like emotionless robots that really took away from the show, making you wish the characters would hurry up and shut up. The music in the certain parts also failed because they tried to really hone in on the sci-fi elements by making experimental music that would really fit into the genre. The end result was that music was so different that it failed to draw on emotions in order to enhance a scene. Iria herself wasn't the most, is basically the most interesting character, what I would call particularly the most unique, interesting character you will find in an anime, but that still makes it for an enjoyable watch. She is your stereotypical heroic protagonist, is particularly that believes in treating all humans as humans. The rest of the supporting cast was really memorable as it was to expect if you see what is going on, if you watch Iria Zeiram the animation, and particularly, but another, but that is another fault of having a limited runtime where you can't flesh out every character. Now the character of Zeiram wasn't trying anything unique, just like its protagonist counterpart. Zeiram is presented as an indestructible killing machine that likes to kill. That's it. That's all the show has needed from it. But overall, the show was a very enjoyable experience, and it felt like wanting more. It felt the universe of Iria, Zeiram, the animation was really original. I mean, talk about and had a lot to offer it if it was given a chance to be either a full 12 plus episode season. As it stands, you would basically, I would highly recommend you, because there's not that much episodes, because there's only 6 episodes of Iria Zeiram the animation miniseries particularly. And yes, this did got a DVD release particularly, but now it's got a new release yeah. So the thing about Iria Zeiram the animation is this is like your typical anime if you ever caught this on the Sci-Fi Channel during the 90s, because this was on par with other certain anime titles that were part of the Sci-Fi Channel during the 90s particularly, which has to the extent unlike any other certain anime titles that were part on the Sci-Fi Channel during the 90s, because most of the things is like these 6-episode miniseries OVA, like Iria Zeiram the animation, was originally part of Saturday Anime on the Sci-Fi Channel back in the 90s, which this hasn't been played on the Sci-Fi Channel nowadays, as it was used to back in the 90s, particularly as well as to many other certain anime titles that I mentioned in my previous anime reviews in the past, to part of the generations. If it was for the nostalgic 90s, if you ever watched anime during the 90s, if you watched Iria Zeiram the animation on the Sci-Fi Channel, and also this anime OVA miniseries Iria Zeiram the animation is now available on Tubi TV. You can watch it on Tubi TV, or you can get it on DVD or Blu-ray. That is released by Discotek Media. That was originally released recently in 2016 as well. I still stand by for this anime on Iria Zeiram the animation, which is particularly your typical OVA miniseries that only has 6 episodes, that only has 30 minutes per episodes. Especially for this anime OVA miniseries like Iria Zeiram the animation. I mean, if you grew up in the 90s and you caught Iria Zeiram the animation, then you'll be the luckiest one if you ever watch it on the Sci-Fi Channel during the 90s as well. So that's going to be it for my anime review on Iria Zeiram the animation for today's anime review. Thank you for watching, but before we go, here's my thoughts on this. When I first watched this, I really knew that this was part of the 90s anime OVAs that has 6 episodes as for a OVA miniseries for this particular anime OVA from the 90s, which is probably part of the Sci-Fi Channel during the 90s particularly. Especially if you ever watched anime in the 90s, you'll probably know this one as well. Subscribe for content on my anime plan, link in the description below. You can share this video on your Twitter, Facebook if you have a Twitter, Facebook account, and all social media. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up by clicking on the like button in this video. Feel free to leave in the comments in the comment section. Be sure to subscribe to my channel, RoniK95. Feel free to join channels. Hit the notifications bell button. Keep it otaku for this anime review, and I got another anime review coming up next here. Stay tuned for my next anime review. I got another horror anime movie for tomorrow's anime review on Dark Side Blues. Stay tuned for my next anime review on Dark Side Blues, because you won't want to miss another anime review.